Hey guys, how you doing today? I wanted to show you this beautiful plant. It is a Philodendron Warszewiczii. You can see how the leaves really resemble the Philodendron Salon. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love this plant. But she is sort of a diva, not super bad, but I haven't had any pest issues with this plant. She likes to stay a little on the moist side of her soil, and she does like high humidity. Now, the only thing bad about this plant is in the winter she goes very dormant. About midwinter, I'd say maybe December, January, all these leaves that you see, it'll start at the bottom and they'll start yellowing, and it just keeps going throughout the plant. It does it kind of slow and methodically. And then eventually, you know, I cut them off. I'll cut back the leaf and then let the stem go ahead and eat itself back. That way it's putting a bunch of the nutrients, the roots and stuff are pulling it from the leaf and the stem. So then I may get, 3 or 4, it depends on how many leaves are actually on the plant at the time. But you can see she's got another big one over here that's kind of sprawled out. But, so I cut back on my watering in the winter for her. I don't keep her as moist as I do throughout the summer. So at that time, when I see her really start yellowing, I cut back the water a little bit, let her get about, half to 3/4 dry, and then I usually move her to another space in my home. I keep her in a medium light. I just let her kind of rest. But then come summer, once it starts really warming up, she will start pushing out all kinds of new growth. So everything you're seeing here is all new leaves this year. Nothing is left from last year. Well, there might have been a couple, but I don't think so. I think they all pretty much are new from this year. There might be a couple of bottom ones, but I'm going to show you the stem on this plant. It's very, very thick. Alright, you can see how thick the stem is. I'll put my finger up so you can, it's huge. And down here you can see it was a little skinnier. But what happened, I've had this plant for about 4 years now. I think it's coming up on 4 years now. I got her about August, September-ish. But what had happened was when I got her, she had a whole bunch of yellow leaves on her. And it just kept getting yellower and yellower and yellower. And I thought, oh my god, what's going on? Because this plant was not cheap. And this was a big plant when I bought it. I don't know. The price may have come down on this plant now. I don't know. But what I did was, it was one stem. You know, it was just one stem. I cut it and propagated it. I think there was only 1 or 2 small leaves on it when I did this. And it took all winter to grow roots. I propagated it in spag moss, if I remember correctly. And I had it in a covered container, and then I had it like in a big jar. I had moss on the bottom, and then I had the jar covered with a little bit of air holes in it. And then they all finally, or both of the nodes finally took off and started growing roots on the bottom really well. And it started regrowing. So I took her out of the jar, put it back in a container with spag. I just used the same spag that was in the jar. Let it grow. I put it right by my humidifier because, like I said, this does like a lot of humidity. It's very, very thin-leaved. So, she does like a lot of humidity. Now, I've never had spider mites or mealybugs or anything like that on this plant, but you can see how she grows the aerial roots, if you guys can see. The aerial roots sticking out, and they grab on to my burlap. I have or it's not burlap, it's cocoa coir moss pole, and all the aerial roots are grabbed onto that and growing around it. But anyways, I'll back off here. So anyways, she kind of took off and kept growing. Got this long, big, long, huge stem on it, which is now 2. And as far as trying to propagate this plant, I would assume that you would just cut like the top off. I don't know if you guys can see it, and I can't see. Let me switch my monitor here. Yeah. I would assume you would want to cut the top off of this, put it in spag, and let it go ahead and root out. I've never tried it. I want to turn this around and show you guys what the roots are doing. See how the roots are wrapping around, the aerial roots are wrapping around this pole? So she likes her pole. She's pretty happy with the setup, I think. But it's really cool how it wraps around. I love when a plant does this. I know a lot of people say that they won't adhere to stuff like this. It has to actually be wet spag, but that's not necessarily true. So you can see a new growth right here. She's got a new leaf coming out, and then I believe she had one. Oh, well, this is this one. You guys can't see because I'm too close. That is her newest leaf. But she, you can see all the air roots. Very, very cool. I love when the air roots do that. But she is a beauty. I keep her in about a medium light. I grew her out. I took her out on my front porch. I had her in here in my plant room. Excuse me. Until about a month ago. And I went ahead and took her out on my front porch. We were just having so much wind and stuff. And this plant is, it's not super delicate, but it is a very thin-leaved, and it kind of rips easy. I've even brushed up against it in the past and ripped, you know, ripped the leaf off. It's very thin, but she's gorgeous. I just love it. It reminds me so much of my beautiful Salome that I love so much. I kind of hate that she does go into a dormant stage and her leaves kind of turn yellow. It kind of looks like the plant is going through some kind of chlorosis in a way, but it doesn't have that green veining through it. It just kind of subtly turns like a yellow, like a light, I'm trying to think of a color. It kind of turns like a autumny yellow, like when the leaves start turning in the fall. And it could be, because I live in Zone 5B, I'm in Ohio. It could be because she just don't like the cooler, and I've even tried putting her the last couple years in the absolute warmest spot in my house. And I was hoping that she would kind of not go into that dormant stage or not go fully into it. But it didn't seem to really work. I don't know if maybe I didn't do it soon enough. But otherwise, she's usually growing either under a grow light or in a south or west window in my home. And I try to keep her as warm as possible and in a higher humidity. And I only keep my humidity in my house in the wintertime between 50 and 60. I don't go any higher than that because I don't want everything molding up in my house. The walls and the furniture and the floors. I mean, I'm not dealing with that. I made that mistake one time, and that's just too high humidity. Even with fans running, no. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our plants. But this is an absolutely gorgeous plant. I haven't done a video on her in quite some time. I know I did an unboxing video, and then I think maybe I did another video later, but I've had a few people comment about this plant, and I don't know why I don't show her more often, because she is absolutely gorgeous. And she's just kind of sort of fussy. She's not super fussy. Give her a medium to highlight so she's not getting her leaves burnt, because these will, I am assuming they will burn really easy. But, because she's so thin, the leaves are so thin. But even when I do have her in a south window, like right now I have her in my house. I brought her back in because we had a storm the other night. And I just kept her in because I'm tired of, I usually bring this one in and a few others just so they don't get totally damaged. But I thought, I'm just going to keep her in now. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this beautiful plant. I absolutely adore it. And she's gorgeous. It took me a while to figure out what she was doing. I don't really find a whole lot of information on this plant online. I have noticed that they have a new one out that is yellow. It's like a yellow, I think it was called Aria, or Warszewiczii Aria, or something like that. And it stays that yellowy color. I don't like it. I don't care for it. I don't know if it's a little bit more tolerable in the wintertime or not. I have no clue. I have no interest in that plant. I don't care for it. It looks dead to me. Or on its way out to being dead. But I feed her all summer. I forgot to talk about that. I do feed her all summer with fish fertilizer, and in the winter, I don't feed her at all. I did try one winter where I went ahead and fed her because she was still pushing up new growth, but the growth was very, very small leaves. And when this plant pushes up new growth, the leaves are kind of small, and then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger as the leaves start to harden. So I do not, feeding her in the winter, even in higher light and a warmer area, it's still, the plant was still going dormant, so I stopped feeding her. And I don't feed her anymore in the winter like I do my other plants that continue to grow. So I feed her a lot. Every time I water her, I give her fish emulsion, and she loves it. So I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Watering, light, humidity. No pest problems on this plant for me. So I think that is it. And also, if you notice, something else that I think is really cool about this plant. Let me try to close up. I want you guys to see the stems on this plant. Let me get closer. you guys can see how the stem is. It's like a light green and a dark green, where the actual stem of the plant is not like that, but the stem for the leaf is totally different colors. I really like that. And down here it's kind of almost polka dotty. It's really cool. I actually love that feature of the plant too. It's nice when our stems are also pretty. But I just thought I would show you that. I thought it is really cool with this plant. So that is it. If you guys are up for a challenge for a kind of wintry picky plant, which really isn't too picky, but it's kind of nice when plants give you a break in the wintertime. You have one less plant to really worry about a lot. So I don't mind it. I just didn't know what the heck I was doing when I first got it. But, you know, give it a try. She is gorgeous. The prices are kind of high on this plant, or at least they were 4 years ago. But there she is. Beautiful Philodendron Warszewiczii. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.